Today, early in the morning, on an old-fashioned scooter, Charlotte Hayes, who was a brave Captain Emma Scott, went out with her mother, Margaret Evans, to buy essential household items.
Her elder sister, Emma Williams, was the district magistrate of this city, an officer known for her sense of justice and strict temperament.
Did the expressions of happiness and pride clearly appear on the mother's face? Because it was this mother who had raised both her daughters all by herself and brought them to this stage in life.
The elder daughter, Emma Williams, the powerful DM of the city, was so busy with her official duties that she rarely got the chance to come home.
As soon as Charlotte Hayes reached the suburban area of the city on her old scooter with her mother,
in front of them stood a police barrier, as if the oppression of power had frozen on the road.
Inspector Vikram Rathod, sitting on the bonnet of the jeep with his legs stretched out, was twirling his mustache.
Stood there as the very picture of arrogance.
On the road, two constables, Constable Serge Evans and Constable Rams Harper, were oppressing people with their batons.
At every step, an atmosphere of fear prevailed. People were silently moving toward their destinations, but in Captain Charlotte's heart, another spark of anger and courage was.
At that very moment, Captain Charlotte Hayes was moving her old scooter toward the side of the road with Margaret Evans. As soon as she reached near the barrier, Inspector Vikram Rathod roared from the bonnet of the jeep, spread his legs, fell to the ground, and shouted with the thunder of his pride and power. "Oh, girl, pull the scooter to the side. Where do you think you're running off to? Do you think time is under your control?" There was a strange tone of arrogance and power in his voice, as if every person present on the road had stopped breathing.
Constables Serge Evans and Rams Harper gripped their batons, and an atmosphere of fear and terror spread all around.
On Captain Charlotte Hayes' face, instead of fear, the fire of anger and courage was shining, and she knew that this listener's heart. Captain Charlotte Hayes calmly yet firmly stopped her scooter. There was not a trace of fear on her face, no fatigue, no doubt, no pressure. In her eyes, the flame of courage and determination was clearly visible, ready to confront every act of oppression and tyranny.
She said in a calm yet firm voice,
"Sir, we are only going to buy some essential items for home. If you want to see the documents, we have everything with us. You can check them without hesitation."
In her tone, there was not only respect, but also a silent challenge. A challenge that clearly showed this girl was not someone who would be intimidated by anyone's power, no matter how great the oppression or strength before her.
The sound of Constables Serge Evans and Rams Harper grinding their teeth.
The sound of Constables Serge Evans and Rams Harper grinding their teeth.
and Inspector Vikram Rathod's growling eyes, all of them had now become nothing but blurred before this woman.
The word "old woman" pierced Charlotte Hayes' heart like an arrow. Her eyes turned red with anger. Taking a deep breath, she said in a firm and resolute tone, "Watch your language. This is my mother. We have all the documents. Do your job, and speaking about someone like that is not appropriate for the police."
Inspector Vikram Rathod flared up. "Silence! You think you'll teach us the law? Show me the papers, right now. Don't act too hastily."
Charlotte calmly took out the license and papers from the trunk and handed them to him. Don't do anything stupid.
But Vector didn't even... The other constable, Rams Harper, said in a crude manner, "Sir, just by looking at them, it's clear. This old woman and the girl are both thieves."
The word old. Does she think she can outsmart us? That she'll show fake papers and walk out of here? Don't change anything. Charlotte tried to control her anger. Watch your language. This is my mother. We have all the necessary documents. Do your duty, and using such words about someone is not appropriate for a police officer.
The sound of the slap spread.
At that moment, Inspector Vikram Rathod stepped forward in anger and slapped her hard across the face.
The sound of the slap spread a deep silence across the street.
A proud military officer stood with her head held high, being humiliated on her own soil by beasts in uniform.
But Victor, the mother screamed, "Oh, why did you hit my daughter? Have some fear of God!" Inspector Vikram Rathod shoved her and said, "Shut up, you old hag. Say another word and I'll beat you too."
The crowd stood there, mere spectators. Some took out their phones and started recording, but no one dared to speak. Among them was a young man silently filming everything. The very video that would later ignite a storm against police brutality.
Charlotte Hayes and Margaret Evans were forced into the Jeep. At the station, Victor Rathod ordered in an arrogant, oppressive tone, "Lock them up in the cells. We'll have all their belongings taken from them by morning."
In a dark, foul-smelling, cramped cell, the mother and daughter were imprisoned. Charlotte Hayes held her mother tightly and said in a low but determined voice, "Mother, don't be afraid. I'm here. Everything will be all right."
A tea boy at the station, who often delivered tea to the DM's office, recognized Charlene Hayes the moment he saw her. Nervously, he whispered, "She's the sister of Madam Emma Williams, the district magistrate." But fear caught his next words in his throat, and he fell silent. The darkness of the night grew deeper. In the suffocating cell, Margaret Evans suffered a severe asthma attack. Panicking, Charlotte Hayes began pounding on the iron door with her fists. "Is anyone there? Please, my mother can't breathe." A cold voice answered from outside. "Stay quiet. Stop pretending." On the other side, since morning, DTM Emma Williams had been desperately trying to contact her mother and sister, but their phone remained switched off. Meanwhile, that very video went viral on social media and threw the entire city into chaos.
The video reached the DM's personal assistant, and he brought it directly to Emma Williams.
The moment she saw it, a storm of anger and determination rose in Williams' eyes. In a firm, commanding voice, she said, "Find out immediately which police station this is. I want a full report, minute by minute." A wave of fear swept through the police station when the order came from above. "The SB just called. They're the DM's mother and sister." As soon as those words were heard,
Inspector Vikram Rathod's hands began to tremble.
He ran toward the cell. Shanti Devi was lying unconscious. Radhika paused for a moment, then spoke in a venomous yet determined tone. "Please forgive me. I didn't know you were the DIG's mother and sister." Charlotte Hayes replied urgently, "Forget that.
Call an ambulance, quickly.
When Charlotte Hayes appeared before the media, she remained silent, answering no questions. Then, in a firm and determined voice, she said, "First, take my mother to the hospital. Everything else can wait."
Upon reaching the hospital, Margaret Evans was admitted directly into the ICU.
Charlotte's composure broke, and she began to weep silently. A short while later, Emma Williams arrived at the hospital, and the two sisters fell into each other's arms, pouring out all the pain in their hearts.
Soon, senior officers arrived at the hospital. Assessing the situation, the SSP said,
The accused officers have been immediately suspended and an FIR has also been registered.
Emma Williams's reply struck like lightning. "This isn't a mistake, it's a sin. If respecting someone only after recognizing their identity is the rule of your system, then this isn't a system, it's slavery." That same evening, Emma Williams called an emergency press conference and said in a firm voice, "This incident isn't just about my family. It's about every ordinary citizen of this district who suffers abuse in police stations every day. From today, strict monitoring will be enforced in every station, and for any complaint of misconduct or brutality, there will be not just suspension, but immediate dismissal." The announcement echoed throughout the entire province, but soon clouds of conspiracy began to gather. Some politicians and corrupt officers grew fearful of the coming change in the system. False rumors about Emma spread, and news of her possible transfer began to circulate everywhere. Still, Emma Williams refused to back down. She spent the entire night poring over records from every police station, quietly gathering evidence of the truth. At dawn, she addressed the police officers via video conference. "From today, every complaint will be made public. A public hearing will be held every 15 days, and no one will be kept in a police station for more than an hour without a valid reason."
Finally, the state government issued Emma Williams' transfer order, but the public took to the streets. Shouts of "No transfer, give respect" echoed through every lane and square.
Meanwhile, good news came from the hospital. Margaret Evans has regained consciousness. Charlotte Hayes and Emma Williams rushed to her side. In a weak but loving voice, Margaret Evans said, "Girls, I thought you would be defeated, but you are lionesses."
Both sisters held their mother's hand tightly. This fight was not over. It was only the beginning. Now this struggle was no longer just about two daughters, but about every mother standing helplessly in the face of systemic injustice.